Hello, everyone. This is ZinoNation episode 31, the holiday special. We're going to have a little treat at the end of the show for you if I can get all the software stuff worked out. But we got a big show tonight. We got a cast of thousands on tonight. My usual co-host Marcus Crawford's on with us. We have John Coopy on the left and Bill Thomas from Coast to Coast Roads on the right. And the second half of the show, we'll be joined by Mel of 400 AGL, to talk about his big boy 4041 train video, which is an awesome video, and we'll run in the background when he comes on. But we're going to cover a lot of things tonight. We want to talk about the Zino has a firmware update coming tomorrow that'll help alleviate some of the battery issues people have been experiencing with recently. Then we want to get into it with Bill about the Skydio 2. We're going to get our email soon, and we want to talk over which accessories are the best ones to order with your Skydio, what you need, what you don't need, and so on. So and then we're going to get into, when Mel gets on, we're going to get into how he produced his awesome video. But I'm going to throw it to my co-host Marcus Crawford now to get us started off tonight. Check in on everybody, see everybody's doing. Take it away.
It is a great time to be a drone enthusiast, guys. This little guy, I'm just having a ball with it. I took it out in the wind today. I was smart enough not to send it out almost 2 kilometers this time, though. So I was able to fly it back just fine. But with this little mini and with that Skydio drone coming out, there's plenty to talk about, and there's plenty to keep us busy.
All right. John, how have you been? Catch us up on what you've been up to lately.
So today I had an awesome day at the park. It's one of our last good days for a while here in mid-Missouri. I was just flying a whole bunch of little micros today. I was testing a new goggle patch antenna. It was just really good fun with a lot of micro drones at the moment.
Good. Are some of them going to be coming up on your channel?
Oh, absolutely. I've got a video I'm waiting to encode after the show ends right now to put up.
Excellent. So everybody, go over to John's channel and wait for those updates. Go over there, and if you're not subscribed, hit that bell or whatever, and you'll get alert when he pops this video up. Bill Thomas, how are you tonight? What's going on in your world?
The wife made really killer hamburgers tonight.
That's the best news I've heard all day.
And curly fries. Other than that, I'm kind of like everybody else, hoping that we get that email from Skydio soon so that we can do that. And then, of course, I have to admit, I do have a little Mavic Mini envy. But then, of course, Marcus's videos have made me like one. Maybe that was a good idea to hold off a little while. Maybe I should wait till spring if I wait till spring, then the winds will be really bad. So I guess next summer I'll be getting one, maybe, if the wife doesn't keep me from getting one, I guess. Okay. That's about it for me.
Okay, well, I tell you what. Let's go over the. I'm going to let Marcus go over the Zino firmware update story, and then we're going to jump into the Skydio and what you should order and what you shouldn't order. We'll go down the list, but if we don't talk about the Zino now, we'll never round back to it. So, Marcus, fill us in. What's going to drop tomorrow morning?
Yeah, so we're I was just going through that in my brain. We're all Zino owners here.
Yes.
So tomorrow, they posted on Hubson on their YouTube or their Facebook page that they're dropping some new firmware tomorrow that addresses the battery issue that they've been having. I mean, I don't know if you guys have seen it, but there've been a lot of people that have had their drone drop out of the sky because of older batteries that go bad, and then it just shuts down and drops out of the sky. So supposedly this new firmware will kind of do an assessment of your battery and tell you if you should be flying with that battery or not. So, I mean, we won't know what it is until we see it. All I know is
I don't know. I got a feeling that everybody's battery is going to be bad.
Well, so
you need to buy a new battery today.
Yeah, Bill, let me just tell you my little experience is the original battery that I had with mine. I noticed that it started to I could charge it and it would charge to 100%, but as soon as I put it in a drone, I mean within seconds it would drop down to 60%, and then of course you would get not as much flight time with it. Then it would be fine, and you'd get not as much flight time. So I have a feeling that there is a life to those batteries in that first one. in fact, my plan is to just retire it. But of course, I need to test it out with this new firmware. So I'll definitely do that. But I ended up, I've got a couple other batteries because, and I guess I'm not going to risk the drone with that older battery. What's the point, right?
And Marcus, who was it told us that they think it may be of the 3 cells, it may be the middle cell that's causing the problem? Explain that a little bit better.
So if you looked at Peter Martin's testing that he did in his last video, he's got a couple of really good videos up, and I do not pretend to understand all of everything that he does, but he was showing resistance across the individual cells. And it was always the middle cell that had the most resistance across it. And Hubson explained that in their last post. They said because of that cell doesn't get as much cooling, right? It's sandwiched in the middle. That's typically the first one that starts to have problems. So I mean, I don't know. We'll just have to look at this. I'm anxious to see that software drop tomorrow, and I'll have a battery charged up and my old battery to try it out. But yeah, what do you guys think?
Yeah, well, that was really interesting what you just said about the resistance, because I've been charging my Zino batteries with my hobby grade charger ever since I got the cable. And you can't really get an accurate resistance reading when you're charging using that cable because the wires are so thin. So what ends up happening is you've got wrong readings. But I will say this. When I was looking at it, the first 2 cells, they look, not the first 2 cells, the beginning cell and the ending cell, they look like they have the same amount of resistance, which I figure, yeah, it's just the wires. But the third cell, the second cell, the one in the middle, looks like it's got a significantly higher number on it. So I am seeing that too, even in my charging experience. So this is a really interesting update.
Peter Martin said the same thing. He actually showed on his video where he tested them, and it was always that number 2 cell that had the highest resistance. And then, of course, Hubson had their explanation. I'm not telling you, I'm not smart enough to understand all that completely, but I believe them when they,
Yeah, I kind of wrote it off because, the wires in that little harness are so thin. I'm actually afraid to charge any higher than 2 amps on that.
Yeah, let me pull that out so we can show people.
Yeah, people have had it go on fire. Some people have had it go on fire. So I'm a little scared to even charge higher on that one.
Yeah, so Ryan was telling me that you're not charging above, what do you say, 1 amp or something?
Yeah, I've heard anything between don't charge above 1.5 amps or 1 amp. Seem to be okay at you doing it at 2 amps, but yeah, I do see that middle cell spiking in resistance when I'm charging, and even when I get to the end. So it makes me wonder, what is the real resistance?
So this is what you're talking about, right? These wires are so thin that they just can't carry enough juice without. Those are the power wires, and then these are the balance wires.
Yeah, well, actually, it's not even so much those wires that are the problem. It's the wires inside the Zino's cable itself. That's where the bottleneck is. Those wires would actually be plenty enough to carry 3 amps through it.
So you're talking about this guy?
Yes, the wires in the charge head.
Gotcha.
In there, they're really, really thin. And when you do resistance checks on chargers, you're going to see that you're going to get these ridiculous numbers. I think I saw something like 100 milliohms, and I'm like, this battery would be dead, completely dead if this is really accurate. Just for reference, like a 4-cell battery, 8 milliohms is good. I think 15 it's not doing so good. When I see 20 milliohms on a 4-cell battery, I'm thinking it's time to retire it. Okay. And then 30 milliohms is just unusable for me. And that's on a 4-cell battery. On a 3-cell, it's not much different. So yeah, this is really interesting developments.
Yeah. So what I'm anxious to see is what is their app going to say? How is it going to do whatever test to that battery to be able to tell us what's what with it? And to your point, John, Peter Martin was saying is his fear is that it'll tell everybody that all your batteries are bad. You know.
Yeah, I'm afraid of that too. What kind of testing is it going to do? And we all know that Hubsan doesn't really thoroughly test their releases before they put them out. So what did they do? Did they just do some quick resistance checks against each of the cells when, you know, the Zeno's powered on? I mean, is that all they're doing? You know, that could cause some people who have batteries that are okay, maybe not the best, it's going to cause them to not be able to fly at all.
I have another question. I have a question. That new battery, is it just going to, how is it? It's supposedly just for a pro. It's not going to work with the old Zeno.
No, Bill. No, you know, they haven't said, but what I've seen, it will fit in the old Pro, but the butt's going to stick out of the back a little bit. So people worry that it'll throw the balance of the quad off a little bit. That you got the back of this battery protruding out of because the Zeno Standard and the Zeno Pro are the same size drone, so the battery's going to protrude out of the back of both of them. I just threw this out there. My theory, maybe this battery is going to be in the Zeno 2 or whatever, and they just, you know, it just got moved up to be the Zeno Classic, the Zeno Pro battery for a while. But yeah,
it's actually listed in the Pro accessories, but it's not listed in the regular Zeno accessories, like spare parts and stuff.
Yeah,
and it's listed at $60, and of course it says sold out because, you know.
Jay Bird, one of our regulars in here, he said he's already ordered the Pro battery, the 5,000 milliamp battery for $50. So he's got one coming.
So I suspect that battery will be fine, and I'll explain to you how I know if you'll give me just a second here. Let me fold this baby out, and let me get this other drone here. Sorry guys, I should have been more prepared.
We came up with trick questions.
Yeah, we got you this time.
So, look at Al Duran's latest video. He flies just like this. He's got his Mini strapped on top of his Zeno. And he flew it, guys.
Nice.
And he flew it a long ways, too. So, hey, I have a feeling that little battery sticking out a little bit, it's going to be just fine.
Good point. Very good point.
How much does it weigh?
Well,
249 grams. No.
Something tells me it weighs more than 249 grams, man.
You mean that with the
yeah,
I don't know, but so you got to watch Al's video. It's pretty good. So what he's trying to test is the cameras.
Yeah.
And so that's why he did it, because he said, well, so he had both drones fired up. Well, I mean, not the motors turning on the Mini, but he had the camera going, and he was comparing the cameras of both of them, and that way he could get identical footage. You got to.
Something I would have done, but I really enjoyed his FEMI video, and one thing it taught me was how bad the FEMI X8 was in low light. Like, for some reason, wow, that seemed to be so bad. It seemed to be so blurry. Anybody else catch that? How
I thought the FEMI. Now hold it. Let me. I thought that this guy was better in bright light, and I thought the FEMI was better in low light. But
really,
well, I'd have to go back and look.
I saw a lot of blurriness in Al's FEMI video where he had the Mavic Mini on top of the FEMI.
Yeah, yeah.
Maybe Al has a comment on that one.
Well. Also, Ryan is going to do, I think, a comparison of the FEMI and the Mini. He's got that coming up.
Got that coming up.
He's got that coming up. We've heard that before.
Say no more. Say no more. Well, if anybody has any more Zeno battery questions, blurt them out or in the chat, but we're going to move on.
I wanted to ask another question about wasn't there a firmware update or a planned firmware update to where you didn't have to jump anymore, that you could just plug into the side and update that with the controller and stuff that way? Or maybe I was reading something that they were hoping to do something like that eventually.
Well, of course, the Zeno Pro doesn't. The controller is different, so you don't have to do any jump.
Right, but I was thinking they were going to try to actually do something with the Zeno to where you didn't have to jump it anymore. You could just plug it in on the other side, and update the firmware that way. Anyway,
I haven't heard anything. Have you, Marcus, on that?
No, I haven't. I know that they've fixed it that you don't have to jump. There's just a little hole that you hold like a paper clip in, and that does the same thing as when you used to have to jump those pins. But yeah.
And Bill, I never did jump mine, update my controller, and I don't plan. I don't ever change the channel anyway, so it doesn't make any. The Zeno always seems to be in the right channel, so I never even bothered doing it. So
I don't think it's necessary, Ron. Really, I mean, it's kind of cool to be able to look at those channels, but I don't think it's that big of a deal.
Takes up more memory, I guess. Okay. Just curious. All right.
No, good question. Good question, because that's been a hot topic. That I guess once the old classic Xenos are gone, we won't have to worry about that. The Pro, and of course, obviously the Xeno 2 that hopefully be coming sometime next year. But okay, let me move on to story number 2. Last week, Drone DJ posted a story about the Skydio 2 drone, that the emails would be coming soon. I think they even hint it would be this week. Which is going to be a tough week because it's a 3-day week. I'm sure that Skydio people aren't working on, maybe Thanksgiving or Black Friday. But the video this week, and he also posted the accessories that you could order at the time when you get the email that completes your payment. And supposedly the accessories are priced at a lower price at this ordering than they would be later on. And they also warn you to get the accessories you want now because they may be hard to get later on. But what a lot of us got confused with, Bill and I went back and forth on this the other day because I was confused at first. They list a pro kit for $1,500, and I was under the impression it included the drone and the 4 batteries and both controllers and this, that, and the other thing. And I said, well, that's what I'm getting, no doubt or whatever. And then Marcus got talking to me and said, that doesn't come with a drone. I said, oh, bummer. But then again, and then I talked to Bill, and he's got me halfway convinced it does come with the drone. And I keep reading it over and over again, and I'm still not sure whether or not it comes with the drone. So I'm going to throw it to Bill and let him tell his side of the story.
Well, I think I've convinced myself after we saw that $500 premier support and the extra year's warranty, that's where they're taking that big chunk of change. And I'm sitting here, and my gripe is if this is the world's smartest drone, why have I got to pay $500 for premier support?
You could buy a mini flying work kit for the $500 you're paying for the support, right?
And the thing about it is somebody like me, I'm barely going to use the support, if at all, And then the year's extended warranty is very similar to DJI or Autel for that matter. I'll be like, that's cool, man. I tell you what, you keep the premier support, you keep the extra year warranty, just give me all that other stuff and the drone for $1,500. We'll call it square.
Boom.
I'll be in there. But other than that, I think all I'm going to do is probably I'm not even going to get the dual charger. I'm going to get 2 batteries. I'm going to get some props, going to get some filters, and I'm probably going to get the controller.
Just the Paranoffy controller, not the beacon. But you said you're going to get the dual charger?
No.
Oh yeah, So okay. So Anafi. Well, I'll call a Nafi controller, an extra battery, the filters, and the extra
props. Yep.
Boy, we're almost on lockstep here. That's exactly what my plan is. But I think Marcus has bigger plans.
Oh, I want that bacon. I mean the beacon. The beacon sounds like one of the coolest things about it to me. And I may not get a chance to use it right away in the winter, but man, I've got an ATV, I've got a couple motorcycles. I'll use that beacon and try some of that stuff out. But like you guys, I'm most excited about the controller because I think the way that we fly, that controller is going to be a really cool thing. But I want to get that beacon too, and then I will get probably a couple extra batteries. I think I'll get that battery. What do they call it? The extra battery charger thing that charges 2 batteries at a time, whatever it is.
Didn't you guys think that was a little overpriced at $129.90?
It is, especially when Kyle told us it takes an hour to charge in the drone. I'm like, man, bang! I'll just do that.
Yeah. That's a lot. I've never seen anybody charge that much for a multi-charger or whatever. That's a little over the top.
Here's the thing. I got it figured out. I could do like Marcus is saying. I could get the extra battery, the props, the filters, the beacon, and the controller, and it's still under 15. So that's why I'm kind of like, like John and I were talking about this too, about what we thought the package were. And I guess they're thinking that some highly professional people are going to buy this drone for like inspections and stuff. Yeah. But still, most of those pilots are going to understand equipment and understand issues. So they're really not going to need, but his point was, we don't want to buy it unless it comes with the premium support, so.
Right. Well, me and Bill went back and forth on this because we were trying to figure out who is this pro support package really aimed at, right? Smartest drone in the world, but you need to pay a $500 support package. I'm thinking my theory is it's for government agencies and businesses where they might have a boss where they're like, we're not going to buy it unless it has support. And Skydio's thinking they might be able to soak up those kinds of transactions. Ron, Marcus, what do you guys think of that? Who do you think they're trying to capture with that pro support package?
I just want to say one thing. If y'all see in the chat what Philly Drone Life said, he said, I have one eye on the chat and the other on the wife. If she sees me on the tubes, I'm finished. I'm going to text him right now so she looks over.
Pretty funny.
All right, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Marcus.
No, that's fun. I forgot what I was saying. Oh, yeah, we were talking about the support package. No, I agree with you guys. I think that's aimed directly at professionals, that they believe that professionals are going to want that higher level of support. And people like us just don't need it.
I mean, obviously, a normal consumer doesn't buy a $999 drone and a $500 support package. That's unheard of. If it was a $5,000 drone, but $500 support package, maybe that's a little more in line.
Yeah, but most of the companies that might buy this drone for inspections and stuff are going to be fledgling companies that aren't going to be able to pay $500 extra per drone for all that, So, and your bigger companies that are doing the inspections and stuff are going to have big gear, And it's like John and I were going back. We're like, who is this for? And I'm like, they're expecting more. Or hoping more. My biggest thing is, just like we were talking when we had Kyle on last week, is they've given it to the action guys because that's what they're pushing, but they've yet to give it to a cinematic guy. Just like they were showing the guy in Hawaii who had I can't remember, he had the Mavic 2 and he had the Skydio. Yeah. He was zooming in on the waterfall and the Mavic kind of stuttered and bounced around and went on up through there. But the Skydio had already pre-calculated how to go around it and smoothly go right up through there. And I was like, ooh. So you're going to see a lot. Okay, you're going to have like small production companies that will use this for stuff like that. But again, they're not going to have the budget for that $500 premium support.
Yeah, exactly. All I can say is, Skydio already has a government contract, and maybe the government contracts require this type of support or whatever. And of course, if it's at the taxpayer's expense, the $500 is nothing. But back to what Bill was saying about the video, flying to the waterfall. I mean, with a drone like the Skydio, people like Marcus and I'll throw Bill, and I know he's trying to do some FPV. We'll be able to get shots like people like John are flying their FPV drones in tight spots that we normally could never get before or whatever. Even though we don't have John's piloting skills, we're going to be able to get right in there close to trees and limbs like he does with the goggles, and we don't have goggles.
And I don't think the wind's going to be pushing it around.
But it won't be as easy to carry either, Bill.
Well, yeah, that's true. I don't think it's going to be that bulky, that little case and everything. Oh, and the cool thing he was telling us was, remember, he was telling us about the case, that it was going to be able to recognize the symbol on top of the case and precision land dead on the case.
That's so rocks. Isn't that cool?
I mean,
and after the show last week, Bill, when he was on, he put another video out. Did you see? one of the buttons on the left-hand side, it's going to be a speed boost button. So rather than going to sport mode, if you just need a short burst of speed, you hit this button and you get that short burst, and that's perfect, Bill.
Well, and not just that, though. Remember the double tap and go? Tap, 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 and the drone just goes right there.
Yeah.
And the thing about it is this where it's all AI and everything, and it stores it in memory. You're going to be able to fly the same. Eventually, you're going to be able to fly the same routes over and over, like a dolly and stuff like that. So it's going to be really cool. Some of the stuff that the cinematic guys are going to come up with.
And when he walked through the camera settings in the beginning of the video, when he was still inside his van, that was impressive. It has, almost the camera settings of the DJI Gopher app and the Anafi app, which the Anafi app may even have more camera settings than the DJI Go4 app has.
Hey, John, have you got one ordered?
A Skydio? No, I don't have one ordered.
Yeah, just curious.
I actually need to get my butt down to see Curtis and fly with him, because he lives in Olympia, so we're probably about 2.5 hours apart. But when he's at work in Tacoma, we're only an hour apart.
Yeah, I was going to say, Bill, I've been in Seattle traffic. Yeah, you're 2.5 hours apart in the middle of the night. If it's during the day, it's more like 4 hours.
Well, if I go 405 down during, I can get down there. But, and if I come back up I-5, it's not bad. So I've lived here long enough to where I've gotten used to knowing which ways to go and which ways not to go. And you got to make sure you always got that extra passenger for the HOV lanes.
There you go.
We got Mel in chat with us tonight. He'll be joining us in a few minutes, and again, we're going to talk about the Big Boy 414. But anyways, you talked about Curtis. I think Curtis has these Skydio in order also. I don't know which batch Curtis is in, but I know he is getting Skydio. Maybe Curtis.
Go ahead.
So,
even though I don't have one on order, I am closely watching all you guys' channels. I really want to see how this thing does once it's in, all the channels I love to follow, all you guys, because we're the regular people.
If we get it and it doesn't work that good, you'll be the wise one.
Yeah, I mean, I've been burned too many times on new releases of things, just in general, like new computers, new phones. I like to wait 6 months to see how other people get on.
And that's
No, that's what I'm waiting on the winds to change, and then the next time Marcus almost has to fly away, or it does fly away, I'll just reach out and because it'll fly over. It's over here in Seattle. So, I'll be like, Marcus, look what I found.
Hey, Mel is here.
Welcome, Mel. Thanks for joining us tonight.
Did you order a Skydio, Mel?
Hello, everybody. Hello. Or a Skydio. How do you know I don't already have one on a NDA?
Ooh.
He may use the Skydio of the film, the Big Boy 4041 for all we know. He can't.
I think he uses the Mavic 2 Pro to do that.
Don't make him get in trouble.
I think he likes that too much.
Actually, Bill, you're close. I use a Mavic 2 Pro and a Mavic 2 Zoom at the same time.
Ooh.
But I had another pilot flying the Zoom.
No, man, you need like one of the special rigs, man. You can just.
That would be sweet, wouldn't it? But I'm 107, so I can't get caught doing two at once. That'd get somebody in trouble. Probably me.
A two-shot production. Listen, this is your first time on the show, Mel. So, can you give us just a little background and maybe how you got into drones or whatever, so people maybe in the audience that don't really.
Well,
let me promo anybody in the room here. His YouTube channel is 400 AGL. Go over there right now, subscribe, hit that bell icon, and go to the Big Boy video and drop a thumbs up on it. Take it away, Mel.
Well, the story on how I got into drones, Ron, is really quite funny. About 7 or 8 years ago, I was having trouble with my phone. So I had my girlfriend with me on the truck, and I said we were in Indiana or somewhere, and we were headed for Texas. I said, find me a Verizon store between here and Texas that I can get into with the truck. So she found one at a mall in Arkansas near Little Rock. So we called them, made sure they were going to be open the next day. And I pulled into the mall. I went into the Verizon store to get my phone worked on. Inside the Verizon store, one of the employees was flying a Parrot AR2 inside the store around all the customers, doing flips and everything else with it. So I said, here's my phone, fix it. When you get done with that, add one of those to the bill. I'm taking one with me. It was $450.
Whoa.
Okay. So I walked out the door with it. And that was my first flying camera drone. And I had no idea what I was getting into. I flew that off and on for 3 or 4 years. And then I started doing research and landed on the decision of DJI, and I bought a Phantom 3 Standard, and the rest is history.
Wow.
I've had as many as 9 DJI drones at one time. Now I'm down to 3. So that's how I got into drones originally. That's how it originally started, walking into a Verizon store.
I believe Parrot was the first kind of drone maker I was familiar with too. And I remember the one you got too. I thought about getting that myself, but never did.
Well, now you can buy an AR2 for $50, $75 on eBay.
Right.
I mean, they're nothing, now.
So
Right.
Mel, was that just a altitude hold drone, or was the AR2, is that a GPS drone? Or
It wasn't GPS. Later, after I got into GPS drones, and I gave that one to my brother and got him started in drones, I bought a GPS module for it. And it had the ability to almost like waypoints. You could go in the app and you could program where you wanted the drone to fly, and then it would follow it if it had that GPS module. But you had to do it in the GPS module in the app. So it was a little more complicated, not quite as easy. And I had the thing sitting on the trunk of my brother's car. We're in the driveway at my place. And of course, I got 5 acres, and the only thing that's not woods is where my house is. So first time flying with the GPS module and everything. And I said, look, Kent, all you got to do is tap here, tap there. That's where you want to go, and hit takeoff. And the drone took off and flew right into the trees.
oh, geez.
And not only that, but it was fall or spring, so the branches were naked. So the round styrofoam prop guards that is the body of the drone, of course, it got all cattywampus, and there it hung on one of them branches,
Yeah.
He was able to reach it with an extendable stick, those kind of like the window washer guys use, big. He was able to reach it, but yeah, we almost lost it to a tree on its first GPS flight. But and now he's got I gave him a Spark after that, and then this last summer for his birthday, I bought him a Mavic Pro.
Oh, okay.
So he's flying a Mavic Pro now.
That's a good drone.
Yeah.
Mavic Pro, awesome.
Good drone.
Yep.
Hmm.
And so I've got an Air and a Zoom and a Pro.
Okay.
I was going to comment on what Mel said earlier. I know my wife wishes I only had 3 drones now.
Yeah. Well, a couple of years ago when I met Ken Dono and Bill, the drone reviewer, I was still running my truck, and I carried 5 with me on my truck.
Wow.
Yeah.
Is that when you had that big Inspire?
Yeah, I had 2 Inspires on the truck. I had a Phantom 4 Pro on the truck. I had the Mavic 2 Pro on the truck. I think I still had the Mavic Pro Platinum at that time. I think. Yeah, I know I had it. I just don't know if I had it with me.
Truck,
But,
yeah.
yeah.
Well, let me ask you this: of all the drones you've ever had, what's your favorite drone?
Until I got the Pro, my go-to was the Zoom.
Okay.
Yeah.
And-
Even over the Phantom 4 Pro, I would grab the Zoom first.
And for people who don't know, the Mavic 2 Pro and Zoom are the same thing as the camera. Isn't that correct, Mel?
That's the only difference is the camera. That's right.
Yeah, you know, Parks and Tech, Josh over there, he went out on eBay. Instead of having 2 drones, he went, and I can't remember whether he started with the Pro or the Zoom, but he bought the camera from the other one. He claims he can change that camera out in about 5 minutes.
Yeah, he showed us. I remember, and
That's absolutely true.
Yeah.
That's absolutely true if you can do the firmware change as well.
True.
Because it's 2 different sets of firmware on the drone.
Now that makes sense. I didn't think of that. Yeah.
No, yeah, it's 2 different cameras,
Yeah.
2 different firmwares.
Not
So,
yet. You gotta really want to do that to design.
well, it's like 6 screws and a couple of ribbon cables is all it is.
Mhm.
Basically, I mean, for the most part.
Yeah, the Pro. I mean, I'm sure all you guys will agree. The Mavic 2 Pro is the preeminent prosumer drone out there now. I mean, really, you know, people talk about the V2.0 and all that. I think that Hasselblad has got to be tops out of all of them. Agree or disagree?
If they hadn't have tried to go with the 1-inch sensor and screw that all up, if they'd have put the same camera behind the Hasselblad glass that they put on the Mavic, on the Phantom 4 Pro, it would have been a knockout. It would have been out of the park, because the camera on the Phantom 4 Pro is drop dead reliable. Mechanical shutter, you can't beat it. You just can't beat it. It's a 20 megapixel camera. It's a 4K video at 60 frames a second. I don't think it does 120 in 4K, but you can't beat it. You cannot beat that camera.
So, Mel, you're saying that the V2.0 is probably the preeminent prosumer drone.
No. I'm saying they should have done what they did with the Mavic. Make it a little bigger, make it a little beefier, give it a little more flight time, bigger battery, and upgrade the camera from the Phantom 4 Pro, the sensor.
Yeah, who knows?
If they'd have put that sensor and shutter behind the Hasselblad glass, I think it would have been a better setup. That's my opinion.
Yeah.
You know, those are like right here, right? Or
Yeah, and it is true that I think on the Mavic 2 Pro, the still photo quality is the more outstanding feature than the video quality. The photo stills you get out of the Mavic 2 Pro are almost as good as having a real camera up there.
well, anything is what's the best resolution you can see on your computer screen?
I have a 5K iMac.
Okay, so you're a show off.
The numbers, I can't tell you. 4,000 by 3,200. I don't know.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna go up too. I've got a 16-inch screen with 4K, 3240 by 2160.
Okay, well, I've got a smoking processor with 32 gig of RAM and a smoking video card.
Nice.
I can edit 4K video, and my computer doesn't even hiccup. Okay, but nobody else can see it.
Right.
So anything. Hey, Lloyd. I brought some of the followers over, I guess.
Yeah.
Lloyd said he was going to bed.
Yep, he's headed off to bed. He must have finally finished up with his show. Thanks for having me on again, Lloyd.
Thanks for looking to us, Lloyd.
The 20 megapixel camera is overkill. All you really need is 12. I mean, for a 12 megapixel camera will make an 8x10 print just like your 12 megapixel DSLR. There's no difference. Okay. So think about the 3 things that you need to make a good photograph. You need light, you need a sensor, and you need storage. That's all you need, because all you're doing is recording reflected light. Doesn't matter if you're using film or sensor. The principles are all the same. The old rules are the same. So the only reason that you would want more megapixels in a camera is if you're doing real close up zoom in stuff once the image is made. That's the only reason. When I was running my darkroom, I had a not a Hasselblad, but I had another Mamiya. I had a Mamiya medium format camera. And when I was doing black and white portraits in my studio and developing my own film and making my own prints, making my own 8x10s, if somebody wanted really good quality 11x14s or something, I would shoot the image with the medium format instead of the 35 millimeter, just because it's a bigger sensor, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and that's all there is to it. So I could blow the image up to an 11x14 and not get the degradation that I would get if I used my film camera. Because yeah, back then I'm that old, I was still using film. Okay.
I've shot maybe more film in my life than digital, so I'm with you, Mel.
I've got a shoebox, literally a shoebox full of spent 35 millimeter film that I've never developed.
Oh, wow.
There's probably 100 rolls. At one point when I was shooting stock photography for the warehouses, and I'm talking 30 some years ago, I had, I don't know, 10,000 images, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And think about the hard drives on our computers back then, you know? How many external drives did I fill? And how big was an external drive back then, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, I mean, my first HP PhotoSmart printer was three feet wide and about 4 feet deep and about a foot tall.
Right.
And, you know, so yeah, but 12 megapixel for a photograph, that's all you need. Your camera phone, your phone on your camera, even if you've got a cheapie nowadays, air quotes, smartphone, the camera on that is as good or better than most of these big high dollar DSLRs. The only thing, yeah, look at there. There's an external drive, an old Seagate. Look at that.
75 megs, man. That's all it was.
Yeah.
75 megs.
Yep.
Yeah, and you know, 400 Mel, you're absolutely right about our phone cameras. You know how many times I get the question, hey, what do you shoot your review videos in? The camera quality is so good. What DSLR do you have? And I say, I don't have one. I just use my iPhone. That's it. I use my iPhone 8 Plus. They're like, really? That came from a cell phone? That's amazing.
Yeah, people just don't understand. I mean, the average person has no idea how simple it really is. And the thing that I get a kick out of is everybody makes it such a big deal. Depending on your market, it can be a big deal. Don't get me wrong, but it's not near as big of a deal as everybody makes it out to be. It's just not that difficult. At least I don't see it that way.
Right, but you're right. They called the megapixel wars, where for years it was like cameras outdueling each other with more megapixels. And somebody's smartphone said, "I don't want more megapixels. I want better megapixels."
My first digital camera was 2.3 megapixels. My first handheld digital camera, 2.3 megapixels. And looking at it on the computer of that day, it was amazing.
Right,
it was phenomenal.
I got to beat, Mel. I had a Fuji was a 1.6 megapixel.
Well, you're older.
Yeah, I'm an old guy. Well, listen, we could talk megapixels and camera wars all night, but I want to get into the video.
Well, you were asking me about the editing on that, yeah.
Right, the big boy 4014. Let's start from the very beginning. How did you become aware of this large steam engine, and how did you do all the research and find the information out?
Well, when I first learned about the big boy, because I didn't know about it, it was about a year ago. I don't know how many of you remember Rick from Star Cop. No. Okay. He's kind of fallen off of YouTube, I think, but he used to do a little live stream all the time of his train set that he had in one of the rooms in his house. And he was really super excited when he got a N-scale big boy. And he had the remote control where he could control like 3 trains on his track all at once, and they all made noise. And he'd drive by, he'd run the train through the farm field, and you'd hear the cows in the background. I mean, it was, he had all the electronic setup and everything. Train sets weren't like that when I was a kid. But so that's when I first heard or learned about the big boy. And if you just Google big boy, big boy steam locomotive, you'll come up with all kinds of information on it. Wiki has a ton of information on it. In fact, I labeled that as the source in my video because that's where I got most of the facts. They only built 25 of them initially. Right now, they only know of 8 that are still in existence. The rest have been scrapped. 7 of those are still in railroad museums somewhere, sitting on a rail or sitting in a building. And in 2013, I think it was, Union Pacific decided to reacquire 4014 from the museum in Pasadena, and they towed it between 2 diesel locomotives out to Wyoming to the repair shop, and they actually had to remodel the repair shop so that they could retro the locomotive. And it's the only one of the remaining that burn on fuel oil now, number 5 diesel, number 5 oil instead of coal.
Right.
For the burner. But that's how I got kind of interested in it. And I had a train set when I was a kid. My dad helped me build it. I could run 2 trains on the same track. Each piece of track was insulated from the other, and each piece of track was wired to 2 separate power supplies. So I had the layout, all marked out on my control panel with the switches for throw the switch this way, it's on this controller, throw it that way, it's on that controller. And I could actually run both trains at the same time just by flipping switches to make sure that train had the power to go the right way, because I had them reverse polarity. So if I didn't get it flip switched and the train hit that section of track, it would go in reverse and back up and derail all the cars. But yeah. Yeah, don't forget the locomotive or steam locomotive.
That is an America long past, and I'm glad that Union Pacific thought to preserve it. I believe Union Pacific is the railroad that Warren Buffett owns. That I believe.
I'm not sure about that.
Yeah, but that's awesome, and you wish that more companies kind of had that mentality to preserve a little bit of the past, because the steam locomotive that was America, So.
Well, I actually got to ride one time, a locomotive pulled train. Grand Canyon Railroad runs from the main lodge up at Grand Canyon down to Williams, Arizona. And up until recently, they actually used a steam locomotive to pull those cars to and from. That made a couple of round trips a day. And you could ride the locomotive. We stayed at Grand Canyon for like 2 weeks, and you could ride the locomotive down to Williams and get off the train and go shopping and walk around town, and then get back on the train and go back up to the Grand Canyon. That was kind of cool.
That must have been cool. And in the video, I love that kind of, I call it the filter. It makes it look like the old film roll that you used in it when you're first, flying by the train. And your choice of music was perfect. That even my wife was saying that was the perfect piece of music you put in there.
Well, I couldn't edit the video to the music because I had to edit the video for the video and then find music to play it. But that music came from YouTube's library, and I just did a search in YouTube's library for train, music. And of those options that came up, that was the one I chose. So I appreciate that. I listened to several of them before I made the choice, but it was pretty easy to make the film or the video black and white. Putting the dirt and scratch filter over the top of it wasn't so easy. I had to find one that was free, first of all. And then I had to find one that was free that I liked.
Let me stop you. Let me ask an important question. What were you editing? What software did you use to edit this?
Oh, Premiere Pro. I do everything in Premiere Pro and Adobe. I use Adobe products.
Okay.
Yeah. So the black and white conversion was flip a switch in Adobe, no problem.
Mm-hmm.
And then of course I had to overlay the scratch and dirt clip and repeat it several times and blend it all together so that you couldn't see that it was a whole bunch of little short 5-second clips in a 8-minute video or 7-minute video, whatever it turned out to be. That video is by far the hardest edit that I've ever done so far. In all of my videos, that since I started using Premiere and since I started editing video, that was the toughest one to do, and it was the most time consuming. I've got probably 15 hours into that edit.
Well, all I can say, Mel, is I can see all the hard work. It all shows in the final product. You know what I mean? It shows that you put that type of work into it.
Everybody says that, but the video's got like 200 views. You know, I'd like to see it get 200,000.
Well, I put it up on my Facebook group or whatever. So try to do my part. But that's something that's not uncommon. Some of my best videos that I put the most work into and look the best have the least amount of views, and other videos that I didn't think I did that good of a job on have a lot more views to them.
I've seen that too. One of the videos that I put up on my channel about technical stuff, a router and Yagi antennas on a 50-foot tower, and that video is my highest performing video of all. And the only thing I used a drone for that whole thing for was the cellular tower. You can't physically see it from the top of my antenna tower because of the trees. So I put the drone up and pointed it at the cell tower and brought it down to the antenna tower so the guy could see which way to aim the antennas. So I used my drone to aim the antennas to get them pointed because they're directional. They have to be pretty spot on. So yeah, and that video still gets more views than any other video on my entire collection. It's like, wow.
Well, you'd hate to hear my story then of my best video. I reviewed a Honda lawnmower. It's got 250,000 hits.
Wow.
No drones involved, right, Marcus?
I mean, what the heck? It's a freaking lawnmower. But who wants to make videos about lawnmowers, right?
Right.
Quick, right. Everybody go outside and change your tire on your car and make
exactly. Yeah. Maybe I'll change the back tire on my dually pickup. Will I get double the hits because it's a dually?
5,000 views. But,
Bill, Marcus and Ron almost had a really good video. They would have almost had a really, really good video that would have probably went viral. And
that would have do it spin up.
I was going to say, I tried to get away with a brand new Zino drone right off the desk, right in front of them. And they would have had the entire room chasing this old fat gimpy guy trying to get away with a Zino drone.
Well,
look, there it is. There it is. Speak of that.
Reach through the screen and grab it, Mel.
Yeah. By the way, Marcus, I can give you the address after chat.
Well, we are going to give it away. That's the whole point of the thing. I looked in the box, and he has flown it before. It's not brand new, but
I thought it was cellophane wrapped.
No.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Flown by a celebrity, Kelly Shores, so that should add extra value.
But you've been thinking we'd have got him to sign it.
Right here.
That's right. I remember that.
This box has a very famous drone in it, and it came from Kelly Shores, and it was his first Mavic Air.
Oh.
And it's a beta model.
A beta.
Oh wow.
Oh wow.
This was a pre-release beta drone. Well, now it's all updated and stuff, so it's like the same as anything else. But this drone was a pre-release beta, and that's the one he gave to me.
Right.
That's nice.
with the promise that it will never leave my hands for any reason,
Okay.
unless it goes back to him.
Yeah.
But I bought this big heavy duty watertight case for it. This is one of those, what are they called?
Nanette?
Yeah, that's what this is.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'll take that.
But
Well, let's finish up the video. Okay, so we talked about the editing process. Okay, now,
Yep.
How far did you have to travel to get this footage of the drone the train in motion? We'll call it.
from where I'm sitting at this moment to where the train was about 8 miles.
Oh, so not bad at all.
No, and
Okay.
then from where the train was parked Friday night, I think it was Friday night. Because I went Friday night when it arrived. I shot video there too. And then Saturday morning it was scheduled to leave out at a certain time. So I went down there and I put the Osmo Pocket on a selfie stick with the Wi-Fi adapter on the bottom so that I could hold the thing up and hold my phone down here in front of me and look at it. Shot some video of it there, getting ready to leave out. And then it was about a mile to the little park where the boat ramp was and stuff like that, where I was able to park. And I researched all this on Google Earth before I did it, so that I'd have an idea where I was going to go the next morning. And actually, there was about 12 other people that showed up out there, and 2 of them had drones.
Oh, you weren't the only one filming it.
Nope. But I was the only one filming it because one guy had a Mavic Air and he ran out of battery before the train got there. Another guy had a Mavic Pro and he ran out of battery before the train got there. So I was the only guy with a Mavic Zoom and a Mavic Pro and 7 batteries.
In the air.
Yeah, I had both of them in the air.
Yeah.
Okay, so how many batteries did you need to use to get before you got the footage?
I used one on the Zoom and I just put it up at the time the train was scheduled to leave because it was a little bit late. And I had it up 400 feet in the air, just looking up track, waiting to see what you see right now. And once I seen it coming way off in the distance, we actually heard the whistle before we saw it coming. So I think we heard the whistle when it was getting ready to leave the station. And then I brought both drones down, put fresh batteries in, put them up, and it was a 1 battery shot on both drones.
Nice.
So the footage you're looking at right there is actually from the Mavic 2 Pro. And making all that flicker and everything like the old movie, that was a lot of work to make this all come together. You'll see a scene change and you'll be able to see the train up much closer. And if you was to really look right now about where the W is in water capacity, that's where the Mavic Zoom is at. So this is the footage from the Zoom as the train goes by. And this other fella, he was a professional photographer. He was not a professional pilot, as you can tell. But he did keep it on the train for the most part. I can't say nothing bad about how he did that. Now we're back to the Mavic 2 Pro.
Now, I think in the statistics you put up from Wikipedia, you said the train could do up to 80 miles per hour, but was it how fast do you think it was going here?
30.
30. Okay.
Yeah, maybe 25. Because I was flying sideways right here with the Mavic Pro, not in sport mode, and I could have easily walked away from the train. I had to manage my speed.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I thought, what better place to bring it into present time than as it crosses this train trestle. So
yeah, that was a good transition.
So now here it is in full color in all its glory.
And
believe it or not, in this shot, if you study this shot, you'll see another drone. There was a guy further up the track that was flying, and he shot the same video that I did from the trestle on down to the factory. He shot almost the exact same video that I shot.
Oh, really?
Yeah. He was lower and closer, a lot lower and closer. He was just above treetops. And right about here, he switched over to the other side of the track so that he could see the other side of the train, where I chose to stay on one side. I chose to stay out closer to the water. Thanks, Mike. I appreciate that. I haven't been really looking at chat much. I've been looking at, but yeah.
Did you find a Mavic also?
I'm not sure.
Okay, you couldn't see it that.
I couldn't see it that well, but I did see when I was editing. Once I saw his video, then I went back to mine and started looking for it, and I actually saw his drone flying down there in my shot. So I thought that was kind of cool.
Oh yeah.
Obviously you filmed this in the fall by the colors of the trees. How long ago was this?
Just a week ago or so.
Okay.
I put the video up like 2 days afterwards.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. And folks, it's the video is stuttering and shaking because of probably my internet here. When you watch it on your computer, it'll be rock solid.
Oh yeah, yeah, absolutely.
I mean, on my screen, it looks like it's shuttering because of the internet. You know.
Look at the way the sunlight was at the time too, and everything. It's just
early morning, golden hour. Yep.
Yeah, that is really cool.
It's about 8 or 8:30 in the morning.
Just the way that steam's rolling up through the trees. Just,
look at that.
It was pretty cool too. It was about 35 or 38 degrees, maybe 40. So the steam was good and solid, coming out of there into that cold air. So yeah.
And the comment I made was, this video is the type of video, even when drones aren't a thing anymore, nobody's talking about drones, this will still be a great video because it's not really about drones.
Right.
A drone was part of it, but just like if you would have filmed it with a camera, the camera's not the important thing. It's what it captured. And this is what you capture is more important than
William.
Hey, Billy.
Let me stop Billy here.
So yeah, that video will, it'll always be there. It'll always be there. And it was, like I said, it's by far the most work I've ever put into an edit. And the images that you're looking at the beginning of the video of the train in black and white, those are the same images at the end of the video. They're the exact same image, but not decolorized.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I can tell you this, Mel. It sure deserves a hell of a lot better than 209 views.
It's making me crazy. It's like I thought, sure, that would go somewhere,
Yeah, I mean, no, it says videos like
It just takes people need to share it more. It just needs to get more shares. It needs some more love.
Same if you had filmed that with the Mavic Mini, your views would be through the roof.
You know what? You know what? I almost put a Mavic Mini tag in the video too. I almost did. I come just that close. Yeah.
I mean, it's the type of video. My wife enjoyed the video. Even people that don't really care about drones like this video.
But I try to be honest about things. I make it a point to not open my mouth unless I am 99.9% certain that I know exactly what I'm talking about. And if I ask somebody a question, sometimes it's a test to see if they really know what they're talking about. And sometimes it's because I'm asking a question because I want to know, but I will never, ever let anybody know which one of those two times that is. Right? That's your secret. You got to keep an ace in the hole, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I could have, and I easily could have said that was filmed with a Mavic Mini. Who'd know?
Right.
There's no way to know what drone that was actually filmed with. Absolutely no way to know.
One of the things about the Mini, though, and the reason I got in trouble with it and almost lost it, is because that little guy flies so much like its bigger brothers. When you have it in the air, that's what it feels like. It feels like a bigger Mavic. And you forget, no, it's not. And it's not that powerful. And it's not, it doesn't have the same capabilities.
Well, it has returned to home, right?
Well, in my case, I flew it out in wind warnings in some pretty strong winds, and it struggled to make it back facing it.
So you flew it downwind.
Yeah.
Total pilot error, Mel. Total and full, complete pilot error.
Marcus is not on the
Every
it didn't make
every drone crash is pilot error.
Yeah.
Unless the thing comes apart or a battery fails or, something odd and catastrophic. Every other drone crash there is pilot error. I guarantee it.
In my defense, though, had that have been my Mavic 2, it would have cut through that wind and it would have been like that. But I just wasn't thinking.
Mel, were you battling any wind when you were following the train?
No, you could tell by the steam. The steam was just sitting still and coming straight up.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah, it was dead calm. The water was flat. The water was like glass.
So you was perfect conditions for that flight.
Oh, sure. And the air was cool and crisp. So there wasn't any density altitude issues or, the props had good bite on good, cool, crisp air. And it was good. There was nothing wrong. It was perfect.
Now, what controller were you using to fly the drone?
The Pro has the smart controller and the Zoom has the regular controller.
Okay. Now, I saw you testing the streaming capabilities of the smart controller recently.
Uh-huh.
And, what were your test results on that?
Inconclusive yet because I can't make it do the same thing twice. So, and I'm not going to let out of the bag, what my next steps are to do, but I am playing with the apps in the smart controller, and I'll just leave it at that for now.
I know I've tested the streaming capabilities of the smart controller, and it's failed. I mean, it failed miserably every time.
Well, it works. It works fine if you stream to Facebook.
Gotcha.
And I can tell you exactly what the cause of the problem is. I can tell you exactly what the issue is because I've got it all worked out and figured out now. The Lightning browser that DJI used in their app, their Android app for the smart controller and the Crystal Sky. I don't know if they use the Lightning browser in the Crystal Sky, but whatever browser they use in the Crystal Sky, they did the same thing. They block the user identification to Google services. So even though you can log in on the browser, Google never sees it. Google is not able to see your credentials from that browser. Okay. And that's why you can't stream to YouTube with the smart controller or the Crystal Sky.
So you're working on a workaround for that.
Mm-hmm. And it's good. You're going to be able to go into the GoPro app and bring down the menu and tap what do you want to stream to? You're going to be able to tap YouTube. You're going to be able to log in and you're going to be able to go fly live when I get done.
Wow. Now that'll be a video that'll get some watches.
Yeah. So I got a couple other details to work out, but there's been some people that have posted some videos and the stuff is not consistent. It doesn't work correctly every time. It doesn't always do. You don't get the same result on every flight, in other words.
So you can't count.
So you can't count it. You can't, it's not justified. It's not rock solid. So, and the thing that really sucks is I really thought I had it nailed. And I spent 3 hours making a video, recording all the steps and doing all the stuff. And here's what you got to do. And I'm trying to make this very simple and very easy. And I got all done making the video while I'm setting this thing up in real time and it wouldn't work. So I got all that video and all that editing and all that stuff I did that just throw it on the cutting room floor because it's, may as well be carpeting.
I needed to say a few things real quick because I'm going to have to jump off. I saw where Mikey B was talking about Idaho quadcopter Marcus kept his cool and brought the bird down without a hitch. And I'm going to say that was an extremely well edited video.
What was that about?
Because wasn't that the video that you even explained at the very beginning, Marcus? You were like, there's some colorful things here, and it's I hope I didn't miss any edits. And I didn't hear any bad. I thought it was pretty good edit.
Yeah, some of the language that might have been happened while I was trying to get that drone home, but no, but really, truthfully, all's well that ends well. I mean, I got it within 200 meters of home, and I landed it on a road, and I put it on a landmark where I knew I could find it, and I went out there and found it. So it was good.
Yeah. And the editing was necessary, so he had to make it a plus 18 video, right?
Well, not just that, but also it would have been boring as heck because that sucker was moving at about 2 miles an hour or less. I mean, the thing was barely moving. So,
okay, just two more things. I'm Bill, the guy with no hair and a small beard. Mel is the guy down there with hair and a big full beard. I'm the guy with the dog named Sparky. Jay Bird said he kept calling me Mel. So anyway,
this is an unshaven goatee.
Oh, okay. But yeah, and I got to take off here and jump off. And I wanted to invite everybody that's here tonight over Wednesday night. We're going to, John and me and Marcus, if he gets snowed in, is going to come over with us. And we're going to do a Black Friday, Cyber Monday, Thanksgiving special over on Coast to Coast Drones. And I wanted to say thank you to Marcus and Ron for having me on, and say later to Mel and John, it was good to be on the same show with you for once, Mel. And I will talk to you all later. Thank you.
Same to you, Bill. Thank you.
Thanks for joining us in that great Skydio talk. So have a good holiday.
All right, you too.
Good night, Bill.
Yeah, it was great having Bill on tonight. He's always a wealth of information, and I want everybody to go over there 8:30 Eastern Standard Time, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, whatever the show is on the West Coast. You guys have to figure that out, but it's going to be a fun show. So, we were talking about Marcus's video, and what happened, Mel, is he got how many meters was the way?
Well, so I was about 1,800 meters, so 1.8 kilometers away. So what I was doing, Mel, I was flying up a river, and I was getting high wind warnings on the app. So all of that, every bit of it screams, yeah, I should have known better. And I was flying with the wind.
That's where the problem is.
Yeah, not thinking about the headwind coming back. But like I said, in my defense, I'm used to flying the Mavic 2, the FEMI X8, which either one of those drones would have stood on their nose and just powered their way home.
Okay, so if I drive a Datsun pickup and say, well, in my defense, I'm used to driving my dually. Okay, no, I'm sorry, Marcus, that ain't gonna float in my boat.
Yeah, no, I'm not. I'm saying it. Pilot error. There's no question about it. Although I thought about it, and I was telling these guys a little earlier, if I would have tacked, in other words, gone at an angle to the wind, I bet I could have got it home. I just was so focused on the line home.
That would have made a difference. That would have helped if you would have come at the wind at like a 45-degree angle or so.
Right.
But would you have had enough battery to get all the way back doing a zigzag pattern? Now you're traveling more distance.
Here's the thing, Mel. Believe it or not, at the time that I turned it around, I had like 70% battery.
Wow.
I know. So that'll tell you how hard that little bird was.
How slow was moving at one point.
Yeah, and it was just barely moving.
Give me the speed. The speed was real slow, like
a couple miles an hour, Ron, or maybe not even that. There were times I think it came to a stop. And truthfully, I got really lucky. Had the wind been any stronger, it probably would have blown it backwards. I mean,
Yeah.
So anyway,
I have a wind. What's the wind meter called? A little thing you hold up to. Yeah, I've got one of those. And if it's windy, I check the speed of the wind. And if the wind speed exceeds the speed capability of the drone in standard GPS mode, then I don't fly. If it does, then that screen can tell me wind warnings all it wants to. It doesn't matter to me. So all you need to do is really know what the wind speed is and know what the drone can fly in.
Well, I got her back, and so I was pretty tickled about that, and
that's cool.
Yeah, all's well that ends well, I guess we could say.
Yeah.
And Mel, thanks for the Dotson reference. I bet you lost some of their younger viewers on that.
Hey, speaking of trains in your trucking career, Mel, did you ever pull triples?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
I used to pull triples for Oregon Freightways back in the day, in the old cab over Freightliners and cab over Whites.
Yep. Back when White International or whatever it was.
It was White. You know what? You said that, and I was trying to think. It was White, Volvo White for a while.
Yeah.
But yeah, White got kicked around like an old dog there for a while.
Yep. It sure did.
Yeah.
Yeah. I pulled triples. I used to pull double water tankers, and I could actually back those.
I would have fired you guys that could.
I could back those around a corner and do whatever I wanted to do with them, pretty much.
Yeah.
But the tongue on the second trailer was almost the length of a trailer, and that's where the difference is.
For bridge laws.
No, that's just how long it was.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It was well, I'm going to say it was 16 or 18 feet long, and the trailers were like 22s. So having that extra long tongue on the dolly is the only thing that made it doable.
So let me ask you this. Did you get any good trucking videos with your drones when you were out there?
Yeah, I got a lot of stuff where I shot videos and stuff. I don't know how good they are, Yeah. But there's most of the time, especially after 9/11. And I don't want to get too deep into this because I'm very dedicated, I'm very opinionated, and I'm very strong and very adamant about my opinion. But on 9/11, we lost. We lost that day, and most people don't even know it. Most people are oblivious to it. But after that, you could no longer take a commercial vehicle, and in many cases, a private motorhome, to a lot of the places that you might want to go fly.
Oh, sure.
Arizona spent millions of dollars building a big old bridge and a bypass road to have commercial traffic run around the Hoover Dam. Just because in 9/11, they didn't want trucks crossing the Hoover Dam anymore. 9/11 happened and trucks became outlaws. Every truck on the road became an outlaw. Every truck on the road became a threat, just like the way they're trying to do now with drones. Every drone in the sky is a threat because, oh no, they could put a bomb in it. Has any of them guys ever opened up the case of a drone?
Yeah.
There ain't room to put a damn firecracker in there, let alone a bomb, okay? So it's incredibly stupid. I'm an extreme patriot. I'm not a prepper, but I am a patriot. And 60 years old as of about a month ago, 242 pounds. Last time I was at the doctor a few days ago. That's what I got for you if you stand up against my country. I mean, that's the way I feel about it. And I feel very strong about it. I was in the military. I served. I will stand next to any law enforcement officer, any military personnel, and I'll go right at it with them. I don't care. That's how I feel about our country. And we lost that day. We lost so much. And then there's other things that just because of schedule, when you're moving product for a customer, your customer wants it when they want it, right? You've got a schedule you got to keep. So consider this. Buffalo, New York is across the river from Niagara, Canada. Okay? I have crossed that border crossing between Canada and the United States 11 times. And I've never, ever seen Niagara Falls. Commercial vehicles aren't allowed there, even before 9/11. So there's some of these old trucking songs, like looking at the world through a windshield, watching it fly by on the right, that's exactly how it is. You have no time to do anything hardly unless you physically take time off and schedule to go somewhere.
Well, and then the other issue that used to bother me is because of the way the hours of service worked. It's not like you could unhook your tractor. Say you had a safe place to leave your trailer.
Mm-hmm.
You still couldn't legally unhook your tractor and drive it from point A to point B to go look at something or whatever.
Sure.
So yeah, I mean, especially with e-logs and stuff, you can't do that. But
that's not true. I'm gonna argue that point with you, because you can. Even when I had my truck, the Flying Eagle Hilton, with my big custom sleeper and all that, I had e-logs on that truck, and I could drop my trailer and go off duty, out of service in my log, and I could drive my truck from Indiana to California if I wanted to. E-log had nothing to do with that.
Well, the electronic logs that I worked with, if you moved the truck, I can't remember,
because that's the way the company had it set up.
Yeah.
Now, my company had it set that if I drove more than 30 minutes, it would switch me over to driving. That's because the company chooses to set it up that way. Legally, they can't do that. Legally, they cannot. If I'm out of service, if I draw a line and write out of service in my logbook, nobody can put me in service except me. And that goes the same with your logbook. Nobody can put you back in service except you.
Well, I'll tell you how I got around it. When I was a manager, I put a company car at our layover location so that when the drivers got there, they could get out of their truck, they could jump in the company car, and they could go out to dinner, or they could do whatever they wanted to do. That was the kind of boss I was.
Yeah. See, that's how that works out, which is why, my company that I was with for 30 years was based in Fort Wayne. That's why I had a car there. If I went to corporate headquarters, I'd just park my truck and jump in my Lincoln and go, yeah.
Well, we kind of got off of drones there, so it would go straight.
Yeah, went from drones to trains to
trucks
to hell in a handbasket, didn't we?
Well, Marcus, I did ask you if you ever got any, drone shots when you were out driving the truck. So it did relate in one way.
There was a lot of times where I did have time where I could stop and fly the drone some and get some nice stuff. But most of the time, the places where I wanted to fly, I couldn't get to with a big truck.
Right.
Just,
Somebody even put a comment in here. It's hard to get to Niagara Falls even with just a passenger car because the roads are so crowded.
Yeah. And they're old roads. I mean, and they're not going to update that. I mean, they don't have space to update it. But yeah, that reminds me of my father-in-law when he used to have a fifth wheel and a pickup and a fifth wheel, and him and Granny, they'd take their normal three-month summer trip from California to Nova Scotia and back. Hey, I felt pretty good. I did 250 miles today. I said, really, Dad? What'd you do after breakfast? It's just, and Marcus, being in the trucking business, it's, I just laugh when people say, God, it's an hour across town to the Best Buy store. Really? A whole hour? Yeah. What is that? 40 miles and you got traffic, so it makes it an hour? Yeah. Wow. Should I back up 40 miles in a day?
There you go.
Marcus, right?
Absolutely right. Although I got to tell you, Mel, I could never back up a set of joints. I mean, I saw guys like you that can do it, but I
could only do it with that set of tankers because the tongue was so long. When I pulled a regular set of doubles with a short, 8-foot dolly between the two.
Yeah.
I could back it up a little ways as long as I kept it straight, but I couldn't back it up around the corner. Yeah. Those tankers, I could back up around the corner.
Yeah. That's cool.
But yeah, so
Right. I've always only just been an okay backer upper in a car or whatever, but now they have the backup cameras. Now I'm better than I was when I was young.
Oh, we're spoiled by that shit. We are. We're way spoiled by that stuff.
you know, and everybody makes back in guys with pickup trucks and their boat trailers, right? And you see them going like this, trying to get their boat down the boat ramp, right? Or their wife trying to back the trailer in for them so they can put the boat on the trailer when they're done for the day. I'm going to tell everybody in your chat and you guys the absolute flawless, perfect secret to backing a boat trailer or any trailer.
We're listening.
Okay, now I'm serious, Ron. This is the absolute flawless, foolproof. Will make a pro trailer backer upper out of you.
Me?
Anybody, I don't care. A 16-year-old with a brand new driver's license, if they follow this rule, it will make them a professional trailer person backer. What am I trying to say here, Mark? Anyway, you put your hand, you forget about looking over your shoulder. Forget about that. You don't look out the back window. Forget about that. You got two mirrors, one on each side. You put your hand at the bottom of your steering wheel. One hand, the bottom of your steering wheel, and you watch your mirrors. If you need your trailer to go to the right, you move your hand 1/8 of a turn to the right and see how much that starts making your trailer do what you want. If you need more, then go a full quarter turn. If you need your trailer to go to the left, then you move your hand from the bottom of the steering wheel 1/8 of a turn to the left and see how much that corrects, or a quarter turn. Most people do all of this back and forth and around, and all they're doing is oversteering, so they're just screwing up. The secret is small, controlled movements. Put your hand at the bottom of the steering wheel. If you need the trailer to go left, you move your hand left. If you need it to go right, you move your hand to the right. And that will absolutely solve anyone's problem with backing up a trailer. I guarantee it. That's 35 years of trucking and backing trailers talking right there. I guarantee that will solve your problem if you follow those steps.
Well, yeah, you nailed it when you said what most people do is they oversteer it, and so they end up correcting both directions.
Yep. Yeah. They end up chasing the trailer.
And it looks like a snake trail.
Sure it does.
Yeah.
But if you put your hand at the bottom of the steering wheel, if you think about this, Marcus, when you're backing your trailers, if you need your trailer to go to your right, what do? You turn your steering wheel to the left.
That's exactly
that
right.
Swings the front of your truck to the right, which will push the front of your trailer to the left, which will make your trailer steer to the right. Okay?
Yeah.
If you put your hand at the bottom of the steering wheel, you need your trailer to go to the right, you move your hand to the right. What is that doing? That's turning your steering wheel to the left. That's bringing the front of your vehicle to the right, which is going to push your trailer to the left, which is going to make your trailer go to the right.
Yeah.
Okay. So instead of trying to figure out which way to turn the steering wheel, blah, 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 put your hand at the bottom of the steering wheel, watch your mirrors. If the trailer has to go to the right, move your hand gently to the right or left, whichever way you want the trailer to go. That's the way you move your hand 1/8 of a turn. If you need more, go a full quarter turn. No more than a quarter turn.
Right.
And that I guarantee that will solve anybody's problem that has trouble backing up a trailer.
So the other thing that I was trying to convince new drivers of is when you set yourself up, never put yourself in a situation that you have to blindside. Now, there's rare occasions that you do, but for the most part, you should never have to blindside back your truck.
No. And the other good thing, and this is true for no matter what kind of trailer you're backing, a boat trailer or a RV trailer or a fifth wheel trailer or a semi trailer. When you come to where you're going to park and you see where you got to back in or where you're going to back into, and you pull up, if you've got 30 feet in front of you to use, pull up all the way. Use all 30 feet of it. Don't stop at 10 feet and try to back in. People do that all the time.
Yeah.
If you've got 30 feet, use all 30. If you've got 100 feet, pull up 100 feet. So what? You got to back up 90. Who cares? The more you pull up, the straighter you get yourself lined up, the more you give yourself time to think about trailer goes this way, trailer goes that way.
Hey, I think
you'll nail it every single time.
We're losing Curtis Dart. He says, I feel like I'm still at work.
Come on, Curtis. Let's see. Where's my, let's see here. Here's my Osmo Pocket. Here's my action camera. See here. Alexa, tell me a joke. No, Alexa, shut up. Stop. We'll make you feel at home, Curtis. We don't want you to feel bad.
Curtis, you got to drive 30 miles a day.
Yeah, so he's going into the port, right? He's going into the port at Tacoma, probably, right, Curtis? I can well imagine you're dealing with all those guys at the port. That's that could be difficult. But I wanted to bring up something. I'm going to change the subject here a little bit. Did you guys get a chance to watch Ken Herron's video where he's at the state capitol in, what is it, Tennessee?
Kentucky.
Beautiful
Kentucky State Capitol. Yep.
Beautiful building.
But what I caught a hold of is when his buddy was flying the Mavic 2 Pro and he was flying the Mini.
The Senator.
The Senator. The difference in the video quality between those two was phenomenal. I mean, you could really, that it just was stark. You could really tell the difference between the cheap drone and why you spend $1,800 on a Mavic 2 Pro. It was especially in those low light situations. It was quite a difference.
Yeah, but just think of how well it compared, though.
I mean, it did fine. And of course, the Mini was perfect for what Ken did inside the Capitol building.
Oh, any drone's perfect for it. If you can fly ADI mode, you can fly any drone inside a building. Well,
I'm sure that's true because he's flown, or his senator buddy, I can't think of his name, was talking about flying his Phantom 4 in there, I believe.
Yeah, and Ken's flown his Phantom 4 inside aircraft museums with millions of dollars of airplanes in them and helicopters. And yeah, if you can fly in ADI mode, it doesn't matter. Just think about it. There's no temperature variation. There's no wind. There's nothing to interfere with the flight of your drone except your fingers.
Yeah.
That's the only thing there is to interfere.
Anybody that hasn't seen it, it's some very, very dramatic video.
Fantastic video. And Ken's a master editor too. Ken he knocks it out of the park.
When he went up into the dome of the building and looked around at those frescoes on the it was so cool.
Absolutely.
It was good stuff.
Yeah.
Metro, you don't have to go yet. You can stay another 10 minutes.
Metro, that's Bill. We all met him at Spin Up this year. Him and his wife were there.
I'm sure I met him too. I had so many guys walk up to me and say, "Hey Mel, I'm so and so. Nice to meet you." "Oh, thanks for being a part of my channel." Blah blah blah. After I went to sleep, I couldn't tell you what their names were. I am so bad with names. Like I would forget your guys' names if they weren't tattooed on the screen right now.
Well, when we got back, Marcus and I got paper out. We wrote every name down that we could remember. And what was our count? We got maybe almost 30 people.
Yeah, something like that. In fact, I thought I had the spreadsheet open. I don't. I literally made a spreadsheet with everybody's call sign, their name, etc.
Oh wow! Leave it to you to make a spreadsheet for that. That doesn't surprise me.
That's what I did for a living for a lot of years, Mel. So it's old.
I made one for my truck to keep track of my fuel.
Yeah, smart.
All I had to do was put in the new mileage entry and how many gallons, and Microsoft Excel would do all the math all the way across, and it would tell me, because I looked at it as though I was replacing fuel for the last 1,300 miles I just ran. And it would tell me right down to the penny what it cost me to replace that fuel for those 1,300 miles. And with my fuel surcharge and everything, all added in, every up and down tick in the math. And spreadsheets are fun to work with. I enjoy doing them.
It is.
Have you guys discussed COPPA yet? Yeah, there's absolutely nothing to talk about COPPA. It's a moot point, in my opinion.
Mel, could you explain it even to our viewers what it is?
Well, I forgot what something about privacy protect children online privacy protection act or something like that.
Sounds right.
When it relates to YouTube, and I did a demonstration on Lloyd's show tonight. If you go to your YouTube, well, let me go look at it, because if I don't look, I'll tell something wrong, and I don't want to tell stories because, you know, stories are just bad. Go to your YouTube studio. On the left-hand side, go to Analytics on your left-hand menu. At the top, you'll get a new menu up there. Go to Audience, and once you've selected that, something went wrong. Retry. Well, am I not looking at my own channel? There it goes. Scroll all the way to the bottom. And one of the analytic things that YouTube provides you is the age of the viewers that are viewing your channel. So here's my opinion and my advice. If you have no viewers under the age of 24, 0%, go to the channel level and mark your channel not intended for children. Don't checkbox the adult thing, because then that gets you into a whole new can of worms. But it's just that simple. We don't make content for children. We don't aim our content at children. Yes, we do fly drones. Yes, we do review drones now and then. Yes, we do review toy drones. That doesn't mean we're directing our content at children. And as long as we can continue to prove that we are not directing our content toward children, we should be safe. Notice I said should, because the law is the child's perception of what your video is. There's no way we can predict what a 10-year-old is going to perceive our video as. Okay? There's no way. That's physically impossible. So as long as we say we are not producing content for children, and we don't want children, we don't want Legos and Kinkos and whatever other kind of O's there are, advertisements on our channel. We don't want children's advertising on our channel. We should be in the clear.
You saw Curtis Dart's comment. He had a giant rubber ducky in his video, and it got tagged as child friendly.
Yep, absolutely. That's absolutely possible.
Ryan just joined us, John.
Oh, hey Ryan, what's going on, man?
Thanks for stopping in, Ryan. So that's.
But who flagged it as child friendly, Curtis? You or YouTube? Because if YouTube's Gizzy Whapper thinks your video is child friendly, you can dispute that.
Okay. But you can't change it on your own. You have to go through a process.
If they mark it, you have to go through a process.
Okay.
If you mark it ahead of time, you should be safe.
So, you know, I mean.
But the algorithms are always going to be searching. The algorithms are always going to be looking for stuff.
So the problem is, if you have a bunch, say you have, like John, if you have hundreds of videos posted on YouTube, you have to go back each one and tag it individually, which could take some time.
Only if you want to have your channel be child friendly.
Okay. So
if you set it at the channel level, then it sets all your videos to.
See, I didn't realize that you could set it at channel level. That's important.
Oh, sure.
That's
you can
information, Mel.
Yeah, you can set that at the channel level and be done with it.
Now, Curtis said he doesn't monetize. I don't know what that has to do with.
Well, then he's not worried about getting ads on his videos. See, if you don't monetize, you don't play ads on your channel.
So then there's no issue.
No, that's not true.
Oh, okay.
That's not true. The Federal Trade Commission would no longer be involved if you're not monetized and you're not playing ads. YouTube is not playing ads on your channel.
Okay.
And we have no control over what they play unless we tell them we're not for kids. Then they won't play ads that are directed at children.
And they also won't let any comments on that video either. So it disables comments.
And notifications.
That's correct.
So I make my, because I'm kind of like Lloyd, only not quite as bad. You know what I mean? It's like, you ain't never going to tell what I'm going to say. Who the hell cares? Is that a child-friendly comment? There's no bad words. There's no foul language. There's no, adult content in that statement. Who the hell cares? Right?
Mm-hmm.
So, and I think even that phrase and that word is like okay on the little kid list. They've got a list somewhere. Somebody said that there's about 10 words that an adult would use that are not, they don't worry about those words. But the problem is if you monetize and you get children's advertising on your adult content channel or not made for children channel, the Federal Trade Commission is going to grab you by the kahoozy whatsits and string you up. To the tune of about, I think it's $42,000 fine per video or some outrageous figure they just pulled out of the thin air.
Because they don't want you advertising on a kid's video.
Well, they don't. See, YouTube got in trouble. Google got in trouble for not protecting the data collected about children's channels.
About data collection. Yep.
And YouTube can say, well, we don't collect that data. And I can open up my analytics right now and do a share screen with you and prove to you that they do collect that data. Any of you guys can do that. You can go to your creator studio, go to analytics, go to the top where it says viewers or whatever, and look at the age percentages of who watches your channel. The only way that YouTube can show me what age people watch my channel is if they're collecting data on people that watch my channel.
Well, Mel, you'll be happy to know that my biggest percentage is 35 to 44 years.
I think my biggest percentage is the next one up, I think.
45 to 54, yeah.
I don't remember. I'd have to actually go look again,
But I'm doing really good in the 55 to 64, too, I must say.
Do you have a tag for old geezers?
Well, there's a 65 plus.
Huh.
That might be what that one is.
Now,
under audience, yeah, mine's 45 to 54. I'm 39.1% there.
Now,
25.9 and 35 to 44.
did you see Ryan posted in there that?
I'm 25.8.
Yeah, so really close.
Yeah.
Wow. Ryan put in there, he tagged some Transformer car videos for 13 and under.
Now, see, if you've got stuff like that on your channel and you want those videos monetized, good luck with that, first of all, because I don't think they're going to be monetized. I think they're just going to kill all that.
Right.
But if they're stuff directed to children, then your channel is directed to children. Or part of your channel is, so it's both.
Well, here's a real sad fact about my channel. It's a real sausage fest. 98.7% male viewers, female 1.3%.
I can beat
that.
I can beat that percentage number, Ron, and I'll share screen, or Marcus, and I'll share screen if I have to. Mine is 100% male.
Wow.
And I know that that's wrong because I have Sonari, I have Brandy from Fishing Stripes, I have Angela from Lost Girl Hikes, all those gals, and I've got Eva from Germany and 2 or 3 other gals that watch my videos. Mm-hmm. So I know I've got 5 or 6 women that participate, but yet YouTube says it's 100% sausage fest.
Well, it must be a statistically too small to even report as a percentage.
It's probably the issue.
Yeah.
That's probably it. But I've only got, I'm almost at 1,100 subscribers, so it's real small. Now, I bet if you went to Ken Heron's channel, if you could see that on his, or Kelly Shores, or Rick Smith, somebody's got, or Ed Ricker, somebody's got some substantial viewers. They've probably got a percentage of female viewers that shows up.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, Thanks for for whatever making the COPA issue understandable for most people.
Well, I don't know if I made it understandable for anybody. I know that based on my analytics for my channel, I have no one, according to YouTube, and I'm using their information and their information gathering because I have no way to gather it.
Right.
All I can do is rely on what they tell me. And I've got 0 people under 24 that watch my videos or my channel. So I marked mine as not labeled for children. It's not, I don't talk about making videos for kids. I could give a flying what's-a-hoozy if a kid watches my videos. I don't intend to change the way I make videos. I'm not going to change my editing. I'm not going to change my flying. And I'm damn sure not going to change the way I talk.
And also, how old? Okay, they're getting the stats of these kids. How young can you be and have your own YouTube account?
You need to be at least 13.
So technically, it couldn't register anybody under 13 because they're not even allowed to have an account.
Right, but here's the problem, Ron, is that kids logged out of a YouTube account were still being tracked by YouTube's tracking cookie. That's what happens. So you're not actually going to see any stats in your videos that say that kids under 13 are viewing your stuff, but you can still get an idea that, your general audience is above 18 or in that 25, 30, 40 crowd. I mean, and I have similar stats to you guys. Like my biggest is 25 to 34 years old, 35% of my viewership. And then 29% of it is 35 to 44. So again, for the drone stuff, I think that is the general crowd.
Right. And I remember my nieces, when they watch YouTube, they don't watch my account. They grab their parents' laptop or iPad. So technically, when they watch a video, they're watching it under their parents' account. So it shows up as being a 40-year-old person watching the video.
Right.
Yep.
And in that case, actually, YouTube is not responsible if the parent hands their kid the account. The issue is kids are being tracked, logged out of YouTube. That is the problem. But I want to bring something up because there is something here, and I'm just kind of watching all this unfold. I don't know if you guys seen the social media lawyer on YouTube. You familiar with that video?
I've seen the guy, yeah.
All right. Well, he put up an interesting video recently, and he's actually read the FTC's information on this. And they actually created some kind of exception called the general audience exception, where if you create content for a general audience without, specifically targeting kids, then you're not supposed to come under fire with this whole thing. But YouTube didn't give anybody the option to even say my channel is made for a general audience. It's either a hard line, it's for kids, or not for kids. And
no, disagree. There was 3 options: not for kids, or family friendly. There's 3 options.
I didn't see the family friendly option. I only see that
there was 3. When I made my choice a few days ago, there was 3 options.
I was given 2.
So here's what I'm seeing right now, Mel. I'm looking at it as we speak. The top one is, yes, this channel is made for kids. I always upload content that's made for kids. The second option is no, set this channel as not made for kids. I never upload content that's made for kids. The third option is I want to review this setting for every video.
Yeah,
that's what it was. That's what it was.
Okay.
That's all I get. But there's no general option. There's no option to say this video was made for a general audience. And, he brought up Dude Perfect, the channel Dude Perfect. What are they going to do? Their channel has tons of fans that are kids. Their channel has tons of fans that are adults. Or, you think about like cartoons like I don't know if The Simpsons is a good example, but that's something that can attract kids and adults. Are they screwed? But supposedly the FTC actually thought about this, but YouTube is choosing not to accommodate that, and nobody really knows why.
Interesting.
Nobody really knows why they're choosing not to do that.
I have an opinion.
We want to hear it, Mel.
Responsibility. Man, I didn't know. Marcus is the one that did it. I didn't know nothing about that. That's not my fault.
Yeah.
It's not my fault.
Throw it on the provider.
I'm hosting the stuff and I'm collecting all the data on the stuff, but it's not my fault. It's his fault. That's why they did it that way.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
That's my opinion.
I also think it could be a monetary thing. I'm also thinking it could something to do with the money, guarantee.
This whole thing boils down to money. Because none of this is going to stop a pedophile from tracking a child on YouTube if they want to.
Of course.
Just like, got to make gun laws. More gun laws are not going to make a criminal not use a gun to do bad things. Right? Nobody agrees with that?
As far as the YouTube,
we're not getting into politics here. So,
yeah, I don't want to get into political.
No, that's not political. That's fact. No gun law is going to prevent a criminal from using a gun in a nefarious way. Just like no law about drinking and driving is going to prevent a drunk from driving his car. If he wants to drive his car, he's going to do it, no matter what the law is.
I think one thing we can all agree on is that, the responsibility for other people's kids is kind of being thrown on content creators. And I think that kind of stinks.
Well, sure it does. Sure it does.
And now what's going to happen is I think this is going to be the biggest issue for us as, people that make drone videos, especially if it might be someone like me who might review stuff. The YouTube bots are going to be scanning my videos. They're going to be scanning our content.
Yep.
And I'm not worried about the FTC. I'm more worried about YouTube's stupid bots coming along and saying, that's a video for kids. We're disabling your comments. We're going to push your video down. Now, I'm not even monetized, okay? I don't run AdSense on any of my videos, but it's still going to happen. YouTube's bot is going to scan across.
And you can dispute it. If it gets tagged, you can dispute it and you can go to YouTube court and say, blah, blah, blah. But
it'll be a pain in the ass. It's going to be a major pain in the ass. We've seen
it's all going to be that way. And you know what? Yesterday, I was out flying. Not yesterday. What is today? Monday? Saturday.
Monday.
Saturday or Sunday morning. I don't remember when now. I think it might have been Sunday morning. I was out flying at a river, at a dam, and I shot some video. And this gal pulled up with this little 5 or 6 year old boy that saw me flying a drone. Well, guess what he does? He runs right over to me. He wants, right? I've got video of me standing over him, holding the controller around his arms, kind of like showing him how to ride the bicycle, right?
Mm-hmm.
Letting him fly the drone right straight at us, shooting video. I got that video. You think that video is ever going to go anywhere other than the file folder that it's stored in? Never.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have a problem with kids, but my content is not directed toward kids. If I put Ken Herron does it all the time, lets little kids fly the drone with a fake controller or some other controller, and he's actually flying the drone, right? You know how that all works. But he does it all the time. So what's going to happen to people like Ken Herron with 100,000 subscribers? You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Me at this level, starting out low and small, it doesn't matter. I'm kind of feel like I'm getting in on the ground floor here,
Right.
But people that have hundreds of videos and hundreds of thousands of subscribers and probably thousands of dollars of income from Google every month. Kelly Shores, Ken Herron, Rick Smith, maybe Ed Ricker. I can start naming them off,
Mm-hmm.
and this very well might hurt all of them guys. Might very well hurt them a lot.
It will be interesting to see what happens. You could be right, but
I don't believe it's going to affect me one bit.
Yeah. I don't have like you. I don't have enough followers or enough videos up yet from moving forward, making sure that no child appears in my videos won't be hard for me.
Yeah, it won't be hard for me either. And I'm certainly not going to make content aimed at children.
Right.
Yeah. I'm a 60-year-old guy. I got no interest in children.
I hear you.
I hear
you.
So,
well, listen. I think we've covered this issue pretty well here, and We're going almost 2 hours, so we will try to wrap this up for tonight. I want to thank Mel. He's never been on before. I want to thank him for coming on the show, explaining that video. I thought it was a great video and very interesting. His process, his production was just outstanding.
Thank you, Ron. I appreciate that.
And if
Marcus.
Love that video.
if you want to, on the way out here, if you want to, talk about, you got anything coming up in the channel you want to talk about, or maybe promote some of your live shows, this is the time, Mel.
Well, I do a live stream every Sunday evening at 7 o'clock. Be there or be square. You never know what we're going to talk about.
7 o'clock, what time zone?
Central time zone. Central time, 7 o'clock Central.
Right.
Yeah.
And usually you have the grumpy vlogger on the show usually, right?
Most of the time, he's my co-host. Last night, I had Jim Boyd from Above and Beyond Drones.
Right, I know.
I do a thing every couple of weeks or so where I announce, send me links to your videos in my email, and I'm doing viewer subscriber spotlight type stuff where I'll go through the email list and I save them all in a notepad, right? Spreadsheet. Except it's a notepad, and I put who they are, what their channel is, and the links that they send me. Don't send me the videos. I don't want the files. Okay. I just want a link to your video, and then I'll have them on as a guest and spotlight a couple of their videos and stuff, and just smaller channels, mostly people, 200, 300, 400 subscribers.
Right.
I'm all about helping them out. I mean, I remember when I was there and now I'm a big boy. I'm over 1,000. Woohoo! I can stream from my mobile device now.
There you go. There you go. But that's great to hear that you're helping out the smaller channels. Like I said, it wasn't that long ago. I was a small channel just like you. So I'm still consider myself a small channel, but I was even.
I still am.
Yeah. So again, thanks again, and have a great Thanksgiving. John, what do you have coming up on your channel next?
So tonight, I actually, after I'm get off the show, I'm going to encode a video. Drone Pool was really cool. He sent me a Menace patch antenna, and I tested it out today at the park. I had some really awesome results, so I've got that coming up. I guess I got a few reviews coming up. And remember, on Coast to Coast Drones, Drone Therapy, we're going to be doing a Black Friday special. We're basically just going to be running around finding coupon codes and checking all the sites and specials. It's going to be like a Black Friday hunt, more or less. You guys come on.
That'll be cool.
Kind of hunt for coupons together. So that's sort of what it's going to be. It's going to be just
true. The DJI's having a Black Friday sale.
I did see that. A lot of them have already started. A lot of them actually already started. So what is it? It's like 20% off of some items, right, on DJI's site. Something like that.
Yeah, it's some $279 for the Osmo Action, which I thought seemed like a pretty good deal.
Yeah, normal price for that's $349.
Yeah.
So
we're also going to try to look to see, because I don't know if you guys have experienced this, but like sometimes Black Friday can be BS. Like they'll raise the price.
Oh yeah,
20% off. So we're also going to be trying to look for that. We're going to be trying to see is this BS or is this an actual deal? So
yeah,
or GearBest and Banggood.
They do that all the time. They do that all the time.
Yeah. You know what you need to do now is make a list of certain products and write down the product or screenshot it and the price and everything now, and then compare that to a screenshot on Black Friday or Cyber Monday.
Good. Well, we'll be looking forward to that. I'm going to be on the road actually, but I'm going to try to watch the replay of that show.
Well, where are you going?
Back to where I used to live for Thanksgiving.
Okay.
I mean, I didn't move very far, but I moved from basically the west side of New Jersey. I basically lived outside of Philadelphia, even though I was in Jersey. Now I live on the Jersey Shore, so it's 60 miles to the east. Basically.
Oh, okay.
So
that's not bad.
No, not bad at all. So Marcus, we hear you have big plans on maybe going to Las Vegas for the holiday.
Well, so that was my intention. My family, my father is 88-year-old father is in Las Vegas, and my brother and my sister. So I thought maybe we'd head down to Las Vegas, but big winter snowstorm warning. And I could probably do it, but
not in Vegas.
Well, no, not once you get down there, but even in Lund, which is about it's only about probably less 100 miles or so from Vegas. they're supposed to have a big snowstorm and 6 inches of snow on the ground, etc. So I'm just not, there's no point in doing that. I can wait a few days and I can go when it's clear. So,
Vegas will be wonderful.
Yeah, although I've been to Vegas when there's snow on the ground.
It's very rare. Very rare.
I have seen all those big palms covered in snow. But that aside, I've got some videos coming up. So here earlier this week, I went down into the Snake River Canyon. I drove into the Snake River Canyon and
that's cool.
Yeah, took the Mavic Mini and I got right down on the river and flew right over the top of some of the rapids and riffles and stuff, which was really fun. And then flew up some of the canyon sides and then got some video from the top of the canyon as well. But then just today, right before we came on the show, I was out at Kyle Warner, who is demoing the Skydio 2, happens to be a local guy here in Idaho.
He's a professional bicycler.
He's a mountain biker that has, I can't remember how many championships he's won, but he's testing that Skydio drone. Well, I saw in one of his videos, he was out at the Eagle Bike Park, which is about 4 miles from where I live. So I took the little Mini out there today and I flew around the bike park a little bit. And I'm not a mountain bike. Trust me, I'm a fat guy. I'm not a mountain biker, but you had to be impressed by that place. And I was able to get some pretty good shots of it with the with the Mini. And it was fun watching some of those guys haul.
Yeah. Some of them are amazing. Some of the guys are amazing. I've got a 21-speed mountain bike.
Oh, do you?
Yeah. And before I broke my leg in 08, I used to be kind of a slender guy, sort of like Ron or so, I mean, I used to be. But I shattered my left knee in January 08, and that put me in a wheelchair for several months. But then I met a gal that could cook, and oh my God, could she cook? Anyway, so 75 pounds later, needless to say, my mountain bike sits on the front porch now.
Yeah, that's my problem too.
But I've dropped about 30 of those, and I got another 30 to go. But yeah, I had a 21-speed mountain bike, so I'm all about 35 and 40 degree inclines in first gear, just struggling, and yeah.
Well, so there were guys our age up there riding. So yeah. There were some guys up there that were older, and they were doing it, but. Anyway, it's a really cool spot that the city of Eagle set aside for mountain bikers. That I don't know how many acres it is. It's huge, and they have all the trails marked, and some of them are downhill only trails, and they mark the difficulty of them. And then they have, which I thought was also really cool, they had 2 BMX tracks. One for the little kids, right? Little one. And then they had one of those great big BMX tracks that starts with a big ramp for the older guys to do. Anyway, it was fun to see. Even though it's not my hobby, it was fun to see.
Right. And some of them guys put as much or more money into their bicycles as we do our drones.
I had that conversation with a couple of the guys up there, carbon frames and
absolutely nowadays.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So anyway, Ron, to answer your question, that's about it for me.
All right. And I really don't, outside of, getting ready to celebrate Thanksgiving, I really don't. But I think I got a good day tomorrow here at the Jersey Shore. The weather's starting to fall apart on me fast. It's turning to winter more and more every day. But I think I'll have a chance to get out and fly tomorrow. So I'll fly a couple drones. Hopefully the Zino gets that update. I can test that. And, of course, you always got to fly the little Mini because any Mini video you put in YouTube gets mega views or whatever. But,
yeah, that's about to wear out, though.
Right. Well, actually, we think that, right now it's still kind of hard to get, but it won't be long before you can just walk into Best Buy and pluck one off the shelf. So it's going to be under a lot of Christmas trees on Christmas Day. And then
very possibly
a lot of people are going to get the little, the little air that never had a drone before, and they're not going to know how to do the stuff we know how to do. So guess where they're going to go for their training? YouTube videos.
Well, sure.
So I think that the videos you have seen there even get more views once everybody in the world that's never owned a drone before opens this little thing up on Chris. They say, a drone. What do I do now?
Yep.
And since this is the 249 grams, and we know that you still have to follow every law and regulation. The 249 grams doesn't mean anything except you don't have to pay your $5 and put your number on there. But the people open up on, they're going to think, oh, I can do anything with this because it's light. They won't know those rules yet.
Well, Bill has to register it.
Oh, you mean a Part 107 pilot?
No.
Yeah, because he put the cage on there.
Because his channel is monetized and he's flying that drone on his channel. He has to register that drone. It has to have registration numbers on it in furtherance of a business. Your YouTube channel is a business, whether you want to recognize that or not. If you're making money on your YouTube channel, that drone's got to have a registration number on it.
True. Of course, the people that get their first drone on Chris's day won't have it.
Hobby people, that's a different story. Somebody that doesn't have any drones at all.
Yeah.
But if you run a YouTube channel and you're monetized and you've got that drone and you're shooting videos for your YouTube channel, you better put a registration number on it.
That's very true. That's good advice.
There you go. See, Marcus gets it.
He's legal.
It's a fact. It's not advice. It's not, it's a fact. It's how why is it so hard for people to follow the rules? I see all these videos all the time. People flying over traffic and over people and all this kind of crap. Why do people have to do that?
Mm-hmm.
In that damn video that I played on my live stream last night, I forget what days it is sometimes. There's a road, over the dam, right? Mm-hmm. And I flew up to the road and I waited for cars to go by when it was clear, and then I flew across the road. Why is that so difficult? Why do you why? I don't get it. Beyond line of sight. People do it all the time. Why?
Right. The rules are simple and understandable. They're easy to follow.
Very simple. And if your channel is monetized, it doesn't matter what that drone weighs. What it weighs becomes immaterial. If your channel is monetized, you're putting that drone video on your channel, you better put a registration number on it.
True.
Period.
True.
And if you're a 107 pilot, you better have a different number than on your other drones.
Right.
All of my drones have got a different number on them. Every single one of them.
$5 a piece, right?
Right here's a registration card for one of them right there.
Yeah.
Now, Mel, how long have you been a 107 pilot?
A couple of years. In fact, I think I got to renew this spring.
Okay. Good.
I can't remember this year or next year.
Was it good for 3 years?
No, it's good for 2.
2 years.
Yeah, still only good for 2 years.
Okay.
I wish they'd change that too. I wish they'd make it more like 3 or 5 years. It's 2 years is kind of short.
Right, because even most states' driver's licenses go for longer than 2 years, right?
Oh yeah, I just renewed my commercial license, good for 9 years.
Right, so it doesn't make any sense that drones every 2 years, where a commercial license is 9 years.
Yeah, exactly.
A lot of people accuse that all that money, the every 2 years, and the money is a kind of a money grab by the FFA.
That is such a joke. That is such an absolute joke. Our government works with trillions of dollars every day. Between the tax money they collect from businesses, the fines they levy on people, the money they give away to other countries, the money that they give to fat, lazy pieces of whatcha-who's-its that collect welfare and everything else that think they're entitled to that. The only people that are entitled to anything are the people that defended your right to sit on your fat whatcha-who's-it. You can tell I'm passionate about some things, can't you? Mark is just sitting back there grinning. He's just giggling. So it ain't the $5, man. The FAA could give a flying rat's behind about the $5 bill. I guarantee you it ain't about money. If there's 1 million drones, just look at it this way. Think about it. Do the math. It's simple. You got 1 million drones. $5 each, that's $5 million, right?
Mm-hmm.
What do you think $5 million means to our government? Not a damn thing. I mean, think about it logically here. Break it down that simple. You got 1 million drones in the air, 1 million drone pilots, whatever. What even 1 million drones, $5 a piece. And that doesn't count the hobbyists, because if they're a hobbyist, they can put the same number on every drone. So they only pay $5 for all their drones.
Right.
Okay.
Hey, I hate to say it, guys, but the wife's knocking on my door. I'm going to have to step out.
Yeah, we better end this. We go the longest show of all time here. So, but we got.
Well, I'm sorry that I made everybody stay longer.
You're fine. No. Great show.
Great information, and we'd love to have you back on sometime.
Well, I might. How much you going to pay me next time?
Well,
by the way, that check you sent the other day bounced. You know?
Bounced. Oh, okay. Well, the check's in the mail. All right. Good night, everybody. Happy Thanksgiving. We can end the show.
Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Have a safe flying weekend, and I'm going to get to fly some this weekend too, because I'm going to have nice weather. So anyway, I'm going to do something
good.
Hashtag fly legal, guys. Start putting that in all your videos. Hashtag fly legal, capital letters. Okay. I started that movement a couple of months ago. I'm going to type it in chat. All capital letters. FLYLEGAL. Look at there. Hashtag fly legal. Put that in all your videos, please.
There you go.
All right, guys.
That's a great hashtag.
Be safe.
Take care,
guys. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome, Mel. Thanks.
Good Thanksgiving.
Good Thanksgiving, everybody. Everybody in chat.
Are we